I hate gift giving and receiving.
Receiving gifts is so weird. What do you say? Thank you?
This is Coffee Convos with Kail Lowry and Lindsie Chrisley.
I really want you to be in your feels, Kail.
That does not interest me whatsoever.
I feel very attacked by you.
A spirited discussion about motherhood, friendship, family, and life in the public eye.
I'm just not with the fakery anymore.
There's a fakery bakery around here.
Here's Kail and Lindsie.
Good morning, Sugar Plum. How are you?
Good morning.
You know how I know you're in Texas?
How?
Because you're drinking out of a mason jar.
Yeah, I did make it down to Texas last week, and it was all came together very quickly.
I know, because we were talking about it just days before it happened.
I wish that we lived closer, you and me, because the amount of shit that I just needed to like unpack since I've been here, like all my favorite people live in different states, and it's been really, really hard. Like Kristen in Pennsylvania, you in Georgia, and then Sterling in Texas. Thankfully, she lives here, but yeah, I wish we lived closer because we would just be, I think I would be unpacking all of this in a very different way if my friends were closer.
I tend to agree with that. And I say all the time, like, I feel so lonely where I'm at because my closest friends are not here, like regularly. And when I say regularly, like once every 2 weeks, I have like a Minty bee. No,
and I don't think we've ever talked about that. Like, obviously our listeners know that we don't live in the same state. Kristen lives in Pennsylvania. Like, listeners know that, but I think that there is something to be said about truly how lonely this life is. Like, from like, not as a mom, because that's its own separate loneliness, but like truly, I think I said it to Sterling the other day. I literally, like, you're in Georgia, Kristen's in Pennsylvania, Alessandra's in New Jersey, my friend Tony's in Vegas. Like, no one is close, and it's very lonely.
It's very lonely, and the communications over text message just don't hit the same way of being able to go over to your girlfriend's house and just like unpack all your shit.
Yep. 1000%. And I don't think we've ever talked about that and I don't think it's like a unique situation to us even. Like, I'm sure people that don't have a podcast feel the same way, like with their best friends. And like, I don't think I paid too much attention to it for so long because I just like fly everywhere. Like, Kristen would come see me and very occasionally I'd go see her. But like, what do we do? Like, what do you do in a situation like that?
Well, by the time this episode airs, we will all be together for the second time in 2 years at the same time of year.
Yes.
So I'm like, okay, well, now we're creating a September pattern.
I hope that stays. So I had your birthday. I saw something and thought of you, and I had Rebecca ship it to you, and I completely didn't remember. And then I texted today, and I was like, I need my house cleaned because you're coming to Delaware, and you've never been to Delaware.
You're like, I need my house cleaned because this bitch is a germaphobe.
Also, I got a lip flip so that I didn't have to get lip filler. I have this little bump from the injection, and then with this being crooked, it's like weird. My mouth is really weird.
You're just in a healing state, and you need to remain comfortable in your healing state until you're fully healed. But I want to backtrack a little bit. Your trip to Texas, I don't know if you're talking about that somewhere else, which is totally fine, but you said that you're like not feeling your best. So is there anything that you can like tell us? Because we have not caught up.
The part where I feel good was coming here and going to see Raymond. Like, that was, and I went back and forth. Like, I was like, I don't know if I should do it. And then I was supposed to go I came out on Thursday, and then we were supposed to go see him on Friday, and it fell through. My sister and my aunt had a misunderstanding, and I guess I had a misunderstanding too. So then we planned for Monday, which was yesterday when, whatever the timeline. So we went yesterday to go see him, and like driving to his house, I was like, what is the purpose of this? Like, why am I doing this? I have read comments that people are saying that, I think I said it to you before, like, I'm selfish. Why would I wait till his deathbed? Like, things like that. And no one truly understands until they're in that position. And I didn't know how I was going to feel. Like, no one knows how they're going to feel when they have an estranged family member and you find out they're dying. Like, you don't know how you're going to feel. I could say until I'm blue in the face, and I have, that I will never go to either one of my parents' funerals. You know what I mean? Like, but you don't truly know. So we were pulling into his driveway and I was like, yeah, Chris, I was coming up, like, I shit you not, Chris, I was coming up with every fucking excuse not to come here. So like my aunt called me on Friday on the way home from picking the kids up from school. And I'm like, okay, like I could maybe go next week, but really like the week after that is like better for me. The kids have sport, like just every fucking excuse under the sun. So then I get here, I'm like, okay, like I think I can do this. And then we're pulling into his driveway and my sister, she's in the car with me. And I'm like thinking to myself, like, why the fuck are we doing this? Like this man can kiss my ass. Like, why am I doing this? But we were already there. My aunt had made time. My sister made time. I guess my aunt told my dad we were coming. So like it needed to happen. So I'm already crying before the door even opens. And the last thing I said before I walked in the house was, I'm not going to cry for this. He can kiss my ass. Like he doesn't deserve my tears. I cried the whole fucking time, the whole time.
But I feel like it's something that you needed to do. And I'm so thankful that you had your sister and your aunt to be able to be like accountability partners in that, because that was obviously a release that needed to happen.
I agree with you, but you know what shocked the shit out of me that really fucking chapped my ass? I don't know if you guys remember me flying there on 16 and pregnant. I was actually 17 years old. I flew there. My mom shut off my cell phone on the way there. So mind you, this was my first time ever flying. I had never flown before. I was 17 years old. I had flown one time to Mexico. Second time flying in my whole life. My mom shut off my cell phone. If it was not for the MTV camera crew, I do not know how I would have gotten from the Philadelphia airport to my dad's physical house, like his actual house, right? Somehow get in touch. I can't remember if the camera crew reached out to Joe's parents, but Joe's dad ended up overnighting me a cell phone on their plan. So my mom shut off my cell phone. Do you know what my dad told me while I was there?
Wait, was this on 16 and Pregnant?
No, they didn't play any of this on 16 and Pregnant. They should have, because I feel like I have come to the conclusion that Susie hates me. Susie has always hated me. Susie resents me. Susie does not. She turned off my cell phone going there. And my dad told me that he talked to my mom on the phone while I was there.
So were you under the impression that your mom and dad didn't have each other's contact information?
Yeah.
Or that's the impression you were under?
Every time, from the time I was around Lincoln's age, somewhere between, I want to say 12, but it could have been 10, 11. Somewhere around that age, I really started asking questions about my dad.
Mm-hmm.
My mom told me until she was blue in the face, I don't know where he is. I don't know how to contact him. I don't know where he is. I don't have good phone number for him. I have no idea. I have no idea. I have no idea. That was a lie the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lie the entire time. Why would you turn off my cell phone to turn around and call him? And you know what she said to him? She said, "What do you think?" So what do you think?
As if it was a gossip conversation about their daughter.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's foul.
And he said to her, "Well, she's tall." And I said, "That was it? That was the conversation?" And he was like, "Yeah. Susie is textbook narcissist."
Mm-hmm.
And I think just by being her daughter, I have picked up some of those traits. But I think I can also recognize what's not okay. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. It's not that you don't do the stuff sometimes, but you recognize when you do it.
Correct. Exactly that. So that was really upsetting. What was really cool about the visit, my sister, she actually has memory of him in her life because she had him in her life until she was 5 or 6. And she brought up the last time she saw him and they both remembered it. They both had the same sort of memory.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was pretty cool. And I asked him, I said, "Did you ever think that you would see my sister and I in the same room?" And he said, no, he never thought that would happen.
And I wanted to ask you this because you had said on a previous episode that your sister had memories up until she was 5 or 6 years old. Is any part of you resentful that she has those? Not resentful towards her, but resentful that she had that and you didn't?
Yeah, and I said that. I expressed that to him. I wasn't super cold like I thought I was going to be. I think maybe some of the questions might have come off, my tone might have been cold, but really it was more for
clarity purposes.
Yeah. And I said that. I was why, when did you leave me? Why did you leave me? And then you stayed with her until 5 or 6. Well, it turns out, my mom's family, as I've talked about before, and my sister's mom's family were both very, very wealthy. And so from my understanding, a relationship between them was also blocked. And it wasn't like, in my opinion, the way I see it, Susie simply kept Raymond away because she didn't like him. He was not violent. He was not an alcoholic. He was not on drugs. And the way that it was explained to me yesterday was that he was very blue collar. So like he would do like construction jobs. And we're talking about the 80s and the 90s, right? Like if there's a construction job and that job is done, unless the company you're working for has another project for you, you may be out of work for a little bit before you get your next like job site or whatever. And so at that time, this was how it was explained to me. For anyone listening, like if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. But like, so we didn't have cell phones. It's not like you could go online and apply for a job. We're talking about like you had to pretty much know somebody in that industry to make sure you got the next job site. And so my dad moved from Texas to New Jersey or something like that for a job. And like the way it was explained to me by my mom was he's a bum. He never had a job.
He like bounces around.
Yeah. But like, to be fair, like neither one of them have ever accused my dad of like having addiction or whatever. But my dad did say that my mom was a party girl. She was out until 3, 4 in the morning, saved milk in the freezer. But he said that on one particular morning, it was like 3 or 4 in the morning. He said my mom came home shit-faced and tried to breastfeed me. And he had to like stop it. And I was like, that sounds like Susie. Sounds about right. I said, did you want to divorce my mom? They ended up getting an annulment because he didn't show up for that court date. But evidently he showed up for every court date regarding me and was basically thrown to the side. Like, no, you can't see her. You can't see her. You can't see her. So at that point he had to stop trying. And like, we're talking about the 90s. There's no way. I think I was putting so much emphasis on today's technology. Why didn't you try harder? So sitting there in front of him and really just asking him, like, what did you do to try to see me? Like, he did. He tried to call my grandparents. My mom moved around a lot. It's not like he could leave Texas, drive or fly to Pennsylvania. He was blue collar, maybe didn't have a job sometimes. There was no way for him to pay to get there in the 90s. And like, sure, could he have shown up in Pennsylvania and hoped for the best? Maybe, but there was no, how do you get a hold of someone?
But then you have to play in your mind and think about you being a mom today, right?
Mm-hmm.
Parents, listen up because I am talking to you. Let's get real for a second. And this really goes for anybody who spends any time taking care of kids. Getting kids to eat healthy truly can feel like a daily battle. I don't have to tell you, you already know. Don't even get me started on those so-called healthy kid supplements out there. Half the time, they're either missing key nutrients or they taste so bad your kid spits them out faster than you could save vitamins. Even worse, you find those gummy vitamins that are basically candy masquerading as health food loaded with sugar and not much else. It's so exhausting. Trying to find something that's actually good for them, that they'll actually eat without feeling like you're compromising on their nutrition feels like a full-time job. This is why we are so glad that we found Beam Kids all-in-one super powder, because now instead of negotiating over vegetables, you could just mix up a scoop of their chocolate milk and feel like a parenting genius. If you're new here, Beam Kids is 1 scoop a day of 40 plus essential ingredients, including greens, probiotics, prebiotics, fruits, and vitamins to fuel healthy growth, all in 2 amazing flavors kids love. Kail and Lindsay's kids are obsessed with it, and so is my nephew. You can take advantage of their limited time pricing of up to 35% plus 2 free gifts when you use the code COFFEE at checkout. This is a limited time discount, so you win and your order helps support No Kid Hungry's mission to ensure kids have healthy meals daily. That's shopbeam.com/coffee. And remember, by supporting Beam Kids, you're helping support No Kid Hungry. Go to shopbeam.com today.
If it would have just been an in and out situation, that probably would have been worse than him just being completely absent.
I would agree.
I mean, I'm just thinking if
but why couldn't Susie send me here for the summers? Like, my aunt had clearance to actually raise me with her through CPS or whatever people call it. I know it's different in different states, but she had clearance. Why didn't you send me here for the summers then?
And, you know, unfortunately, that's going to have to be a conversation that eventually I feel like you will have with your mom.
Oh, I texted Kristen yesterday. I said, we need to find Susie. I'm going to find Susie because now
you have to confront it, I feel like, to fully heal from it, because you've already opened the door
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
you know this information. You can't just hold on to it and then play questions in your mind for the rest of your life.
it feels like misplaced anger my whole life. Like everyone was talking about like what a deadbeat he was. No shit, he was a deadbeat because y'all forced him to be a deadbeat. I look at the situation so much differently now because I'm like, okay, he told me he'd try to send me a necklace like when I was a bit like 1 or 2. He tried to send me a necklace and it was returned back to him. He said something about a necklace that he tried to send me or calling my grandparents and they hung up or whatever. He went to every court date, drove 36 hours from Texas to Pennsylvania for the court dates to try to see me for about 2 years. But again, we're talking about the fucking 90s. Like
You also have to consider, Kail, in the 90s, like it is not like court today. In the 90s, unless you were deemed pretty much completely incompetent as a mother, you were going to get your kid.
Well, so then I learned, I already knew my mom only ever had temporary custody my whole life. Okay. And that was for her, she had to go to rehab, but Raymond could never see me, couldn't see me. Go to rehab, she could get temporary custody. Allegedly, and I got to ask, I'm going to confirm with my mom's brother, she never actually went to rehab. I was under the impression she went to rehab and then got full custody, or not full custody, temporary custody. My aunt said that she never actually went. So, and I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, if my mom's moving around all the time, yeah, my grandparents always were where they were. Like they had the same house my whole life, the same phone number my whole life. But they're going to listen to what my mom's saying. Do you know what I mean? So if my mom's saying, oh, he's a piece of shit, whatever, they're not going to give him the time of day.
Susie has now, in this conversation, turned from boozy Susie to boozy bamboozling Susie.
1000%. And I told Sterling yesterday, I said, my mom she's textbook narcissist. And I say that because she didn't want to ask for help. So why wouldn't you send me here for the summers? Like to me, I went to YMCA camp. I'm with this babysitter, that babysitter. This babysitter had named Melinda doing coke in front of my face. Like you could have sent me to my aunt and my dad's in Texas for an entire summer and not paid for childcare and not had to worry about anything. And what's the problem? Like,
because it meant more to her. And you see this all the time. And people listening to this will be able to relate. Sometimes it means more to the other parent to get back at the other one by using the child as a tool. And that appears to me, based off of what you're saying, she used you as a tool to harm him over a long period of time. And that's fucking sick.
I asked him, did you want to divorce my mom? And he said no. He said, but she would not stop drinking. She would not stop partying. And at some point, I just look at the situation so much differently now. Like, I don't want to say that he gave up, but when you're just like presented, 2 full years of roadblocks, and we're talking about someone to this day who does not have any money. He has no funds. Like, he has he's barely scraping by. Why wouldn't he give up? Like, what could he do?
Well, I think a lot of times you see it where people get themselves, and it doesn't just have to be about custody, right? But they get themselves in situations where they just feel like there's no end in sight. Yeah. And you probably just felt like, okay, I have tried this, I've tried that. And over a period of time, when you have done that over and over again, you have to get to a point, and most people get to a point where they're just like, I'm getting nowhere, and it's like spinning wheels. So I just have to stop for my own sanity. You have no idea how that probably mentally impacted that man.
Truly. No, and I will say that I definitely think that he has a very low emotional intelligence. And my aunt shared with me that it is possible that he has like a birth injury. I guess he was in the birth canal he was almost 10 pounds, natural delivery. He was in the birth canal for a really long time. So he's always, this is not confirmed. This is just something my aunt shared with me. He really struggled in school, and it always has looked like he's looking through you. Like I don't want to say he's not fully there, because he's there. I just think that he doesn't have the same emotional intelligence as someone. Like I asked, I said, were you in love with our moms? Like my mom and Michaela's mom? He goes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah.
Just like emotionally not really there.
Yeah, but my aunt did say that he was like that his whole life, like even as a small child. So I thought that was kind of like, okay, like he can't help that. Like he can't help if he was born that way. And so I just think that I have misplaced so much anger, and now I need to go back to Susie, and so many things are coming together for me about her. And it's sad because I look at my situation with my kids' dads, right? And I told my dad the same thing. I said, I would go to the ends of the earth for my kids, and my kids' dads and I have had so many problems over the years, but if anything ever happened to them, I would make sure that my kids still got to see their siblings. And I said, you adults collectively could not get your shit together enough for my sister and I to have a relationship. And it is so challenging now to have a sister relationship as adults. When she was born here, raised here, I was born there, raised there. Like, you guys fucked up collectively as adults, like all of you. But Susie, it is very clear to me that she hates me.
I just feel like you're going to have to do the hard thing and have the conversations with her, because I do not feel like you will ever heal until you actually do that. And there's just like a closure to that situation.
I do think that her husband will not allow that to, I'm going to try, but I don't think her husband's going to allow it. He's very, it's giving hostage situation. It's giving Stockholm situation. So I do think he's going to block it every step of the way. Which scares me because I know that like
Dee Blanchard.
Yeah, I said that yesterday. I literally said that last night.
Mm-hmm. You and I are like so on the same page about this situation. It's just insane to be two girls from two different walks of life and to be able to see something in the exact same way is wild to me. And so what was your dad's upbringing? Was he like middle class?
Yeah. I would say, from my understanding, and if my aunt or my cousins are listening, like, let me know if I'm wrong, but from my understanding, middle class-ish, but I don't know if I ever told you this. In 9th grade, I went on like peoplefinder.com. I paid $99. I don't know where I got the money, but I must have saved it, or I don't know. And
saved it, stole it.
Saved it, sold it, or stole it. Yeah, something. And I gave the paperwork to my mom, and it said that Raymond Guy, which is my dad's dad, but it's not actually his dad, and that's a whole other situation. I mean, we're talking like the 80s, was making like $100,000. So that screams like wealth to me.
Yeah.
But my aunt told me that he was not claiming that on the books and never paid child support. So my dad and my aunt were raised by a single mom because the dad was like not great.
Mm-hmm. I just do not understand how Raymond pretty much got himself in a situation with two women that came from wealth, had two daughters, and then there was just no relationship and no one knew pretty much anything about him. After you went and did the visit on 16 and pregnant with him, did you happen to ask him if he ever followed your story or anything about you from that time forward?
Yes, he has kept up with both my sister and I online since then.
Did he have any questions for you?
No. And I asked him several times, do you have any questions for me? Do you have any questions for me? And he's like, no. I will say I was a little upset because I showed him a picture, like I showed him pictures of like my kids and stuff, and he didn't make a remark. He didn't blink. I was like, you don't have anything to say? And he goes, what do you want me to say?
But you've already referenced the emotional intelligence. You also have to understand people who have already been through a grieving process. If he grieved the loss of you after fighting for that period of time, I would imagine, but I don't know for sure when I say this, that he grieved anything that was going to come from you.
Okay, so he kind of already detached from it?
I would imagine that there would be a sense of detachment. Like if you had to grieve the loss of your living child, you would inadvertently grieve anything that came from that person because you're never going to have anything to do with that person. And you have to consider too, if he had a relationship with you, like you're saying, he was allowed to like have you for summers, at least I don't consider that in and out, because at least that is like a pattern of
like, I know I'm going to go to my dad's every summer, sort of like Lincoln with Javi. Like,
yes,
right now is like, he knows that he's going to his dad's on long weekends and the summers.
Correct. And you have to consider he's seeing these pictures of these kids that are of various ages that came from you that he could have nothing to do with. I imagine that's probably very difficult.
Yeah, I guess I could understand what you're saying. He did ask me how I felt about Elliot being gay, which I thought was very interesting. That was towards the end. He goes, "Oh, I do have one question." And I go, "What?" And he was like, "How do you feel?" He called him Isaac, which is fine. How do you feel about Isaac? And I looked at him dead in the face and I said, "My son is an incredible human. He is fluent in ASL. He's high honor roll. He's so good to all of his friends. He's a good sibling. He's a good son. Like, who he loves does not matter to me." And he said, "I don't care. I was just wondering how you felt about it."
So see, to me, if he's asking a question like that, it's not because he's totally disconnected. And
I
it's
just felt like that was a weird, like, one, I didn't think he kept up that in depth. And two, like, what a weird question to ask.
I mean, does he know that you're bisexual?
That's a great question. Does he know how many dads are involved here?
Well, you know what I mean? Like,
Coffee Convos podcast is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit progressive.com after this episode to see if you can save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states. If you are anything like me and you're a planner and you are already thinking about the holidays that are quickly approaching, please know you are not alone. If you are looking to spruce up your space and just make it more homey and personalized, I highly recommend that you check out Wayfair. We have talked about Wayfair so often on our podcast. We shop there very, very frequently, probably way too frequently, but we love how easy it is to shop on Wayfair's website. They categorize everything for you. Truly, there is something for everybody. You can shop holiday decor for every single room in your house. So whether it's Christmas trees, wreaths, or inflatables for the front yard, Wayfair's your one-stop shop. We just furnished Kail's content house entirely with Wayfair products, and we're cooking stuff up at Coffee Convos podcast all the time. So Lindsie and Kail will be using that space so often. You'll get to see so many of the pieces, and it looks so cute. It is so homey, so comfy. Absolutely love it. The delivery was so fast. It's also free, which you guys know fits right into my budget, and so hassle-free. I just placed an order for my house for bedding and bath things because I have family coming into town for the holidays this year and I just want everything to be new and perfect. You also can get so many things for kids' rooms if you're trying to do a refresh and just decorate them to get them excited about the holidays. You can also get kitchen essentials for hosting. I know that gets forgotten about a lot until the last minute, but get prepared now. Get organized, refreshed, and ready for the holidays for way less. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home.
I just can't wait for you to be able to actually contact Susie, because at least if, you know, her DD Blanchard cuts her off, at least there is some closure in that too, right?
Yes.
It's like you made the effort and you might not get any answers, but at least there is closure in knowing, okay, she let a man tell her that she cannot have conversations with her daughter.
I mean, that was how the last conversation ended, was he was hanging up the phone for her because he didn't want her talking to me. It scares me because I know that, like, she bought her house with, like, my grandparents, like, the inheritance that she got from them. And it scares me if she has pictures of me and stuff. Like, my aunt was able to call me to tell me about my dad. No one's going to be able to, nobody in my family has contact with my mom. So I feel like this has opened my eyes to that situation. I need to get in contact with her to make peace with whatever that looks like. And I told my dad, I said, I am so tired of being angry. Like, I'm so mad. I've been mad my whole life. And I'm so tired of that I'm like, I'm just tired. Like, I've been mad my whole life.
Anger and disappointment are some of the heaviest emotions to carry.
Yeah. So I'm glad I did it. He said he was glad he did it. My sister said she feels better. My sister actually said that what she thought versus what she got is night and day difference.
But I feel like listening to you is the same.
Like, I think that whatever Michaela's mom and whatever my mom experienced, some of it is the truth. And I think a lot of what Raymond is the type of person, like, he's very like, take me as I am. This is what he does not give liar to me at all. He does not give exaggerations, embellishments. If he doesn't remember, he will flat out say, oh, I don't remember. Like, he's very like, this is what it is. And so I tend to believe him a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and I think that with my mom being under the influence a lot of the time, her perception could be skewed a little bit. But I think what really, really sticks out to me, just to like wrap it all up, is that, it's my mom kept him away, not because he was violent. Like, I think that if he was violent, by all means.
Yeah.
If he was an addict or an alcoholic, also understood. He's neither of those things. Like, you just simply didn't like him.
Which is just so disheartening. And I'm sure at your age, you're probably like, I could have at least had, even if it was you reference his very like surface emotional availability. Even if it was just summers, you have to think about the trajectory of your life. And I'm sure you question, would my life look different now if I would have had those summers with him? If you would have had those summers, chances are your kids would have met him at some point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's just sad.
I hope, if nothing else, because one of my kids' dads was like, you're just going for content. I told my sister that, and we were talking about it, and we actually laughed, and we were like, she said to me, I really hope that someone else finds closure in this, or it opens someone else's eyes. And I tend to agree. Like, if anyone else is going through the situation, I actually know someone that's like in my dad's shoes, and I just look at him so differently now.
I will always stand by this. Just because somebody was not a great partner to you doesn't mean that they're a bad dad or they're a bad mom.
Agreed. And also, my mom could have given me the opportunity to go for the summers. And at some point I might have said, I don't want to go there anymore. I don't like it.
But it would have felt like your choice.
Yes.
You feel
Let it
like
be my choice.
Was robbed.
Yes. 1000%. And we can move on, but it was very healing. If anyone is in the situation similar to this, go see the parent. Go see the parent. Swallow your pride a little bit. Hear them out. Let them tell you their side of it. Let them and decide from there. I'm not saying it's going to end up like my situation, but you might end up with more closure than you thought.
I'm so proud of you, kitty cat.
Thanks, kitty cat.
I wasn't in contact with you on Friday because I got a call from the school at around 2:00 p.m. Obviously PM. Nobody would call me at AM. I was leaving a lunch meeting, and the school was calling me to inform that during
Sterling says Deering also.
She does?
Yes.
Got to be a South thing.
It has to be.
So during his first period or block, they were taking a test, and I'm repeating what was said to me from administration at the school. Students were taking a test in this block. They were given some laptop time after said test to play games on their laptop. From my understanding, they sit at a table of 3 or 4 in the social studies class. The teacher had told the class to store the laptops at a certain time because they were going to go to their next period. This one student at the table did not store his laptop and was repeatedly told to store said laptop. So Jackson says to this classmate, hey, she told us a couple of times to store the laptop, log off. The kid then turns around and says, why don't you log off life? Why don't you end yourself?
I have goosebumps. Do you see the hair standing straight up on my arm? The literal goosebumps.
So I'm listening to this narrative of the events, and immediately all the questions as a parent start coming to my mind. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, how did that even transpire? In my opinion, Jackson was just trying to be a good friend of this classmate and be like, hey, you're going to get in trouble if you don't log off the laptop.
Yeah.
You're going to get behavior points off, right? And then for a student to turn around in such a simple situation like logging off of a laptop and to say something like that. So I guess my question for myself as a parent was, okay, this happened. I know his first block is from 9 a.m. to 9:55 a.m. I'm just getting a call from the school at 2 p.m. and what they are referencing was a threat to my child's safety. Very concerning that they were taking it very seriously, to the point that my child was pulled out of class all the way up until fifth period, multiple different times, to go to the principal's office, to go to the counselor's office, to do all of these things. Like, he was pulled out of class in multiple periods after that. There are witness statements backing up what Jackson's version of events were that were all consistent. So I asked if I was going to get a copy of said report.
Right.
They said no. And I said, well, then I'll do an open records request for the said report, because I know that if I request the report directly from the school and not the district office, then the names will be redacted. And I want to know what student this was that said this to my child, because I don't want them remaining in class. Like, I don't feel comfortable with this child remaining in my child's class. And now I have to think as a parent forward, this other student said this to my son. Now is he going to target him for the rest of forever while they're in that middle school?
Based on my experience, yes. And I say my experience, meaning my kids' experience.
So that makes me feel very uncomfortable. And I just hate, because I feel like when I never went to the principal's office or anything like that whenever I was in school. But I do know I had a sibling that was regularly in the principal's office, and there were just communications between the principal and both sets of parents, right? And then both students. Now, they don't want to give you any information about the other student.
Yep.
They don't want to give you any information about the other student's parents. I could simply have a conversation with this student's parents and be like, hey, this is very concerning. And then we move forward.
1000%. Could someone also, like, anyone listening to this podcast, is it because of social media and like the ability to find out who the other parent is and like a bigger safety concern? Because I remember growing up, like, all the parents would go to the office and all the kids with the problem would go to the office. But I mean, even when somebody mopped the floor with Elliot a couple years ago, they wouldn't even let me know. Like, he obviously told me who it was, but they wouldn't even say. And I'm like, he assaulted my son and you're telling me you're not going to tell me who it is? Like, that's insane to me. I got a call from the school. I emailed the school yesterday for an incident that occurred. She also, and I understand she can't help it, but she also could not tell me. She had to say this student, this child. It's infuriating.
Yes.
So what is the solution? Like, what can you even do?
So I then, when I found out that I wasn't going to get a copy of this report sent home, I contacted the school police officer to find out if I could get a case number so I could do an open records request from the district office. Do you know that at 3:45 and the school day is over at 4 o'clock, this incident took place anytime between 9 a.m. and 9:55 a.m. that they considered a threat, a safety threat against my child, that this officer did not even have a case number yet because he just found out about it?
Lindsie, remember when Elliot got beat up 2 years ago? I heard because my nephew told his dad and his dad texted me, and I was at the school before they even called me. And in fact, I called them. Mm-hmm. That is not acceptable in any way, shape, or form. And the way that I would be all over that school, that is not acceptable in any way. What are you, and log off?
Log off? The fuck you mean?
Well,
Like now, I'm scared of you.
We must be in the same exact boat then, because Kristen called me last night at let me see what time she called. First, she FaceTimed me at 6:51 p.m. here, so it was 7:51 over there. I didn't answer. I was on the phone with Lincoln. Finally call her back. 7:43. Some mom messages me and told me that she told her daughter to put her hands on Lincoln because she swears Lincoln's bothering her. I said, well, in fact, I messaged her back. I said, well, in fact, the school actually called me because your daughter has been bullying my son for 4 years. And your other daughter has been bullying Lux for several years.
So it's obviously a family issue.
Well, then 2 of my friends who have kids in the same grades told me that her daughter was picking on them, and one of them was actually moved out of the classroom. So please do not come to me about it. She told me, I told her to punch, I told her to hit him. Lincoln is the most he's funny and witty, but when it comes to school, surprisingly, Lux and Lincoln are the most unproblematic children that I've ever had in school. I emailed the school probably 10 p.m. this time last night. They called me first thing this morning and handled the situation. So if your district can't do that, I'm writing letters. I would be writing letters.
Last night, I received an email from the school principal, and by school principal, I mean the grade level principal. And she has been super helpful. But she had emailed and said, hey, you can contact the district office to get the report, or I can forward an email per your direction to the district office to get the report. So I emailed back and I said, forward this email to the district office so that I can get the report, because I absolutely am going to contact the parents.
Yeah, absolutely.
If your kid coming to school, and not that should ever be said. There is no situation that warrants that to be said.
Never.
But because your child wasn't following instruction, and my son says something about it and says, log off of the computer because you're going to get behavior points off, I look at that as my child's being a good friend. And you're telling him to log off life.
I just think that's so highly inappropriate. And okay, lesson learned. Jackson, even if you want to be a good friend, don't say anything. That's the lesson. But to say something to that extent, what type of other thoughts is this child having?
Fall is upon us, and I just need to know who is with me in bringing out the soft blankets, decorating for fall, getting into the warmer tones. These are small traditions this time of year for me that mark the changing of the season and make me feel so good. And this is about that time when I also start updating my makeup look. So I like to do that by changing up products that I use because my skin changes between seasons, and also just tones and different colors that I'm using. And when I tell you Thrive Cosmetics needs to be your go-to for completing any fall look you're going for, I am not kidding. You guys have heard Kail and Lindsie both talk about how much they love Thrive. They turned me onto Thrive Cosmetics a long time ago, and I will never part with them. One of my favorite things is that every product is 100% vegan, cruelty-free, and made with clean, skin-loving ingredients that work with your skin, not against it. And as I'm getting older, that is so important. This is Thrive Cosmetics vegan tubing mascara with over 40,000 5-star reviews. They have 6 shades that last all day without clumping, smudging, or flaking. It makes your lashes look extra long by wrapping around each lash from root to tip. And it has nourishing ingredients that support longer, stronger, and healthier looking lashes over time, which who doesn't love that? I have been loving the Brilliant Eye Brightener. This is their waterproof eyeshadow highlighter stick that's made to brighten and open your eyes. It gives you this radiant eye look for truly any occasion, but especially in fall. I love it. So complete your fall look. Go to thrivecosmetics.com/coffee for an exclusive offer of 20% off your first order. That's Thrive Cosmetics, CAUSEMETICS.com/coffee.
So then I proceeded to say, I need to know if said child is in other classes of my child. And if not, then that child needs to be moved from any classes that my child's in. Jackson claims that he's only in that one class. So it shouldn't be that hard if the threat was against my child. But this also happened. I don't know if you remember when Jackson was in 4th grade, those girls that kept adding him to like the text chat and he kept trying to remove himself.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that.
And so I said, either my child needs to be moved out of that math class because I've, went through his phone and seen all of these things. And it's very clear to me what is transpiring. He's trying to remove himself from the situation and they keep on. Do you know that the school district told me that they cannot remove another child, even if they are in the wrong, they can't remove the other child out of their classroom because of an event that took place against your child. That would have to come from the parents to request for their child to be removed.
Why?
I'm like, what part are you not understanding? Like, I don't want them around my kid.
That's so interesting how different things work in the South. Like, Sterling was telling me about the Texas statewide rules for phones for kids. There's a statewide like mandate, I guess. It's sort of irrelevant, but how different your district is operating compared with ours. Because when I was dealing with the incident last night, one of the girls who was having a problem with the same child and her son, she said that the school took one of the children out of the classroom and put them in a different classroom, like permanently. So I'm like, she didn't request that. And we were upset because, Lux and him are not in the same class anymore. And we were like, what the heck happened? Well, it turns out it was because of the issues. Like, whatever the issues may be. I mean, I'm not saying it was just solely that kid. It could have been other things, but it wasn't a parent request. It was just the teachers collectively decided.
I told the school, I said, that is just not something that I feel comfortable being said to my child, because to your point, if that child is saying that out loud, what are the other thoughts that child's having? So, at this point now I'm scared for everybody in the school, not just my kid. And that child needs to go through some type of mental health evaluation to deem that he is okay to be in a setting like that.
It's hard because I'm like, on one hand, it's like kids are kids. Kids are going to say things. They're going to hear things. They're going to repeat them, right? But then I think about Lincoln and Jackson are roughly the same age.
They're both in 6th grade.
Yeah. And like Lincoln doesn't say stuff like that. Like I don't even think he thinks stuff like that. So it's hard for me. And like, I read something on Facebook the other day and it was like, normalize not keeping your kids around, like not allowing your kids to be around other kids who are not parented well or something like that. And like, I sort of didn't agree because I'm like, I was the kid that wasn't parented well and I just wanted love and I just wanted like to be in a safe place. And so you like wonder about the kids that are saying stuff. Like I have a little bit of empathy, but like what is going on at home that he's saying stuff like that? And like, maybe some people listening are be like, well, it was just a joke or it was just something he heard and he repeat. Like that's not good enough in today's climate. You have to treat every single situation like this with the utmost care and respect because we don't know who the next person is to do something violent at school. So like you literally have to treat every single, so like how your district is handling this and not having a case number by the end of the school day, I would be so livid and furious.
And he created a case number and said that there was actually no report that would be associated with that case number until he did the report. And it had just been reported to him right before I got in touch with him. So like you're telling me that was said during the school day, that early in the school day, and the school officer was just alerted at the end of the school day?
Is the school that he goes to like big? Is it possible that there was like so much of a caseload that he couldn't have gotten to it? Because I'll say for like Lincoln, for example, is only 4th, 5th, and 6th. Not saying that, this incident would have been bigger or more important than any other incidents, but like if there's a ton and it's a huge school, I could see that. But like for only 3 grades at Lincoln School, like I wouldn't let that fly.
There's only 3 grades. It's 6th, 7th, and 8th. And while I understand there might have been a heavy caseload and other stuff going on, that's perfectly fine. But the fact that the school resource officer or school cop, whatever they call themselves, just found out about it.
Yeah, no, that's a huge red flag.
Huge red flag. So I just have such an issue with how they handled it. I do appreciate that they were trying to gather all facts before getting me on the phone, because maybe it would have come across like more than what it was if I got the initial call without them doing what they needed to do. So I do understand that. But to your point, with the climate, you have to take everything very seriously.
Everything. Every freaking thing. Like and it's just the way it goes. Like you just have to. You don't know what. Like it reminds me of the case where, I mean, this is obviously extreme, but hopefully you guys will understand where I'm coming from. It's like when we talked about that one case of like the student bringing the gun and like everyone was telling the principal and the assistant principal and like telling them and telling them and telling them, and they ignored it and they ignored it and they ignored it. And then boom, a teacher gets shot. It's like,
Well, and it's scary. I mean, I have always been a big lover of the clear backpacks. Always.
Did I tell you what happened to me in middle school with the knife?
No. You brought a knife?
No. This his name was James. I believe I was in 7th grade, possibly 8th, but I think it was 7th. Wanted to like take me on a date or like go out or whatever. I said no. And I think I said like, I don't know, your mom or something like that. Like something stupid.
Sounds very Kail Lowry-esque.
Yeah. And he brought a 10.5-inch butcher knife to school and went into the bathroom and told his name was, that one was Zach Whittemore and the other one was Zach something, I can't remember his last name, how he was going to stab me. And I was called down to the office, and of course, in true Susie fashion, everything is over the top and that my daughter, and why don't you guys have metal detectors? If there is no budget for metal detectors, I actually never thought of clear backpacks. And I think that that is a fantastic solution and an affordable solution for schools. I think that's, I'm embarrassed to say I've never thought of that. And I think that is an incredible solution. I think that's an affordable, that could be nationwide. Like, I think that is a great movement.
I think it should be a federal law that students carry clear backpacks to school.
How do we
warrants that move?
So if Texas can make a statewide mandate for cell phone hours, Sterling was telling me about it last night, can we not do the same for clear backpacks? Like, who do we need to speak to like make this a whole movement? Because like there are ways to make cute backpacks that are, and I've seen them. They're all over Target. You have to use them for stadiums. You have to use them for certain like social events. Like how do we
have to carry a clear backpack into a sporting event? You're telling me that our children should not feel the safety of knowing that everything that is in their backpack or their peers' backpack is going to be seen by administration, that should not be required within a school building?
I love that idea so much. And I'm also thinking about, I think it was the end of last year. Lux, he's a car rider, and I walk over actually, and I walk over to the little fence to pick him up, and he had a watch on. And I said, where does this watch come from? Turns out, friend gave it to him. My friend Casey works at the school. She's like, I know where that came from. Let me ask his mom. Nope. The little boy took it from his dad's closet or whatever, gave it to Lux, and it was never like it wasn't like an Amazon like cutie junky little like you could give it to your friends, I don't care kind of thing. Shit like that would even help parents out, right? Like it's more than just like the violence and gun situation. Like it could help parents out as well.
When Jackson was in preschool, every year of preschool, like from the time he was in Mother's Morning Out and he did transitional kindergarten through the same preschool, it was clear backpacks. It was like a clear backpack policy at the school, and the school issued the backpacks. I'm like, why can our federal government not make that a mandate to where there is clear backpacks in all, public schools?
Maybe it's because I'm spiraling and my meds haven't kicked in, but I want to make this a movement.
Let's make it a movement.
No, I'm not being, like, I'm dead serious.
If anyone wants to join us on this movement, please let us know. while we're talking about school, we had a listener write in saying that her 11-year-old niece came home from school yesterday and someone in her class had cut her hair.
See? No, literally no. And yes, they have scissors at school. I get it. But like, we don't know if these were kitchen shears. We don't know if these were meat cutting scissors from home.
Mm-hmm. I mean, those Fisker scissors, if that's the way you call them, like the Fisker scissors that all the teachers ask for, those things are pointy.
They do have ones that don't. They have ones, the scissors now for kids now, that cannot cut hair.
What?
Yes, my friend got them because her daughter cut her own hair. Hold on, hold up, hold the phone. Fisker scissors, no hair. Yep, they literally have Fisker. Hold on.
We'll make sure that we link these up, but the only way that would work is if everybody had them, because this story says that this little girl's very specific about her hair. So she was hysterical. She said that the little girl got suspended, but it doesn't sit right with me that the little girl gets to go back to school after her suspension and laugh and make fun of what she did. Has anyone been in a situation like this, and how do you handle it? I mean, ultimately, it doesn't feel safe at school now that she's embarrassed and humiliated and doesn't want to go back.
I don't blame her.
First of all, if somebody cut my hair in school, I would have also been suspended.
It's what I cut my own hair when I was like 5 or 6 in my aunt's hair salon on Main Street. I went to the back while I think my mom, I don't know if she was working there, just visiting or whatever. And I took a pair of scissors and I cut my own hair. And then one of my girlfriends, one of her daughters, and it was right in the front, cut all her bangs all the way up here. But for someone else to cut your hair, like, right. I could not imagine Lux coming home and having someone have cut his locks off.
I mean, just a child, I'm just thinking the situation like a child sitting behind another child in a desk and it just like snip, snip. Could you imagine?
Oh, and like kids that age, well, how old was the kid that wrote in?
11 years old.
11?
I'm like,
no, hell no, because if Lincoln came home and told me that he cut someone's hair at 11 years old, oh no, because I'm thinking this is like kindergarten.
Because now I don't have any tolerance for you. If
at that point,
old, you know better.
No, the consequences should be
severe.
Yeah.
Right? But this is the kind of shit that's happening inside of school buildings. And then we wonder why teachers are worn the hell out. It's because this is what they're doing all day, every day. Like, I got an email yesterday, timely. Jackson was in his science class, so he was in 4th period. And my son decided that it was a good idea to go with his buddies from the lunchroom into the bathroom and get soap and sling it across the wall. Jackson's been doing that with his friends for quite some time, for years. And then he got caught this time doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, don't worry, I'll deal with it. But so bad, I wanted to respond back to the email and say, thanks for being timely on this. However, you guys weren't timely on a fucking threat. But thank you for letting me know that my son slung soap across the wall.
It's weird. I wonder, that's weird. That's really weird.
And he lost 5 behavior points for slinging, like, I'm not even responding. Like,
that's another thing, another big difference. I can't speak for all of the Northeast, but where we are, we don't have like a point system, behavioral system. They stopped using Class Dojo app. We don't have that. I think that would be really good.
Their behavior, just themselves.
Yeah.
Like, so the way that the behavior things work here, and this is across the board from all of elementary school, and now I'm seeing it in 6th grade, is that they get a certain amount of points. Like, they start with 100 points. And then once they work themselves down, it meets like certain thresholds. So then if you work your way down to a certain amount of points, the first one might be like silent lunch. The next one might be half day in school suspension. After you've lost a certain amount of points, you get out of school suspension. Some of the points, if you're down to a certain point, If there is a field trip coming up, even if your parents have like paid for said field trip, you now no longer eligible to go on the field trip.
I love that.
I think it's a great system in theory, but I would love to know how many behavior points the child lost that threatened my son.
I would also like to know, like, I think they've tried that, like on the Dojo app. I don't know if you've ever used Dojo, Class Dojo, but they have something like that through the app. But the teachers, and obviously, like, I don't know if it creates more work. Like, I don't know. I'm wondering if they don't use it because it's too hard to keep up with like the moving classes. Because I don't know about you for Jackson, but since Lux is in Spanish immersion, from kindergarten, they switch classes.
Oh, wow.
So they do half day English, half day Spanish. So the half day with the Spanish teacher, they have to switch class for that. So I'm wondering if that's maybe why they'd never really done like a point system. Because I guess it would be too hard to keep track. There's a lot of kids. I don't know. But in theory, it sounds good. I have always had a hard time keeping up with like chore charts. I'll do it for a couple weeks and then we just forget about it. I have a star jar. We forgot it. Like we just don't keep up with it regularly. But like in theory, it sounds really, I'm actually going to ask Sterling. She works at the school. I'm going to ask her if her kids have that.
Well, let me know what she says. Someone else says, and this was actually emailed to us. They say, "Hi, ladies. I just wanted to quickly say how much I enjoy the podcast. I've been listening for years, and I think you're all wonderful, Kristen included. I think you two are going to be able to provide valuable insight into a decision that I'm struggling to make. Long story short, I'd say I'm about 95% sure that I'm done having babies. I have one son who's about to turn 2. There are so many reasons I don't want to have another child, but one reason that's holding me back from 100% deciding is the fact that my son won't ever experience a sibling. A little part of me also feels selfish for denying him the opportunity and worry that he will grow up to resent me. But I just don't feel like that only reason is enough for me to try again for a baby. I thought you two could give me opinions from both sides of the fence. I don't know how you find peace with I do not know how you find peace with the decision. Any insight would be a big help. Signed, Confused Kitty Gang Gal."
Well, thank you for writing in. My best advice growing up as an only child and hating it. I also did not have cousins close to my age. I think if you have nieces and nephews, cousins, anything like that, make sure they grow up together as much as you can, as often as you can. Even if it stresses you out, it will benefit your child. If you don't have nieces and nephews and things like that, making sure that you essentially go out of your way for social opportunities with friends. So if that means driving them to, a friend's house for a play date that you really didn't want to go to, making sure that they have that regularly and consistently. I absolutely, and I know that there are plenty of only children who loved it. I don't know what their cousin situation was like. I don't know what their friend situation was like, but it was very, very difficult for me. And so shockingly, 2 of my best friends growing up were also only children, which is so weird because like when I think back to it, I'm like, they loved it because 1, their parents were present, and 2, their parents always made sure they had opportunities to like do things with their friends, and they also had cousins. And so that I see like a big difference in how they perceive being an only child. For you have Jackson, obviously. You've sent me videos of him and the friends like dancing in the car. Like, so you are making sure that he has not siblings, but like very close connections with his peers.
I do feel like I overcompensate in that area where we always kind of have a friend over, or we're inviting a friend to go and do something so that he has somebody that's about his own age to go and be able to experience things with outside of it being a parent. But I will say, as time has gone on and I've gone back and forth on like, do I want another child? Do I not want another child? Struggling with the idea of a child from 2 marriages. Like I very much mentally struggled with that. I can confidently say that I'm ready to do that. Like I am ready to have another child because I do think it's so important and you've got to think about all factors, right? Like my child has his grandparents on Will's side.
Mm-hmm.
and he has his 2 cousins on Will's side. So he's very close to his family over there. He doesn't have grandparents on the other side. I could see or can see as he's getting older that like when we do family function stuff or when he goes off to college, like I want him to be able to come home and be like, okay, well, I still have a home at home, like with my brother or sister.
But the flip side is that Jackson is so old at this point that it would basically be like raising 2 only children.
From the raising standpoint, yes. But I do think that there's a place to where he's still going to feel like that is a sibling. It's just so much younger, right? You've got to think of Elliot and his age and then your youngest. Like there's still a sibling relationship and bond there regardless of their age.
No, I think that's true. I definitely think that. Like I look at like Elliot and his sister at his dad's house. It's like there's a pretty big age gap there, but like he'll still, it's like I'm going to my dad's like with, you know, my family over there. I have a sister over there. Yeah, no, I agree with that.
I've kind of been thinking of this situation in the way that we talked about your dad. If you have an inkling to do it and you're only you're 95%, if there's any percentage that like you want to do it, I would say do it because there is a greater chance that you're going to regret than doing it.
Okay, so you're saying I should have another daughter then?
Kristen, do not kill me.
Oh my God. No, because that's so funny. I know Avery Woods got backlash because she said something about the way that she loves her son versus her daughter or whatever. I love all my kids so equally. But I love my sons differently than I love my daughter. And knowing that it's different. It's the same, but it's different. Does that make it not the same? It's equal, but
the love is equal, but the love is different.
Yes. And I think a lot of it is because like I'm healing little Kail with Valley. And so with that being said, and me not growing up with my sister, I have always said I want my daughter to have a sister because I love like there is something so like instinctual about my like how I feel about my like I cried yesterday because I was like my sister is about to be an orphan, like her mom passed away, like now her dad is not like, and it's like weird because I don't know if I ever told you this, but I used to carry around this keychain. It was like a picture of me. I was like in first grade or something, and I would be like, this is my sister. I just knew I had a sister. Like I knew I had a fucking sister. I didn't find out until 7 years later that I actually had a sister, but I would say, oh, her name's Melissa. Oh, her name is Mackenzie. I was pretty close. I was pretty fucking close.
That is crazy. So it was a picture of you, but you told people that it was your sister?
Yes. Why? I don't know. I was weird. I was a very unremarkable weird child. And I say all that to say, like, to bring this full circle to like the whole, like the listener is like, and your point is like, if you have that inkling, just do it. So I guess that means I'll have another daughter.
Oh, well, Kristen's going to fire us both from this podcast by the time we get done with foul play.
Hey, ladies, I finally got around to submitting my foul play story. Queen of procrastination here. My sister got married during the height of COVID when there was lots of restrictions in place. Sorry, was trying to think of how many times I told this bitch she wasn't done yet. She had a small intimate wedding at her house and only invited close family members to her backyard ceremony and dinner. She asked my husband and I to stay after everyone else left for an after party because she wanted to celebrate more. My husband never drinks hard liquor, but my new brother-in-law offered him some glasses of an expensive fancy whiskey. I don't know where this is going. Before he knew it, my hubby was hammered and went to lay down. I was downstairs cleaning up after the dinner. After laying down, he got the spins and ran to throw up in the bathroom. However, the bathroom was occupied, so he turned to the next room and puked before he could make it to the trash can. I come upstairs to see this man puking on their brand new freaking marriage license. I didn't want to ruin the new couple's night by telling them, so I snuck downstairs to get paper towels and a hairdryer to attempt to salvage the marriage license. Needless to say, the paper is now crinkly and foul-smelling as hell. I put my husband to bed and continued partying with the newlyweds. I had so much anxiety that they were going to be pissed that my husband had desecrated their freshly signed marriage certificate. But lucky for me, they both thought it was hilarious and loved that their tiny COVID wedding got rowdy. My parents had signed it as the witnesses, so when she got a new copy, my sister made up that she dropped the original license in a puddle, and that's why they had to sign a new one. She's the real MVP. Love you, ladies, and hope this made you laugh. For the record, my husband has never drank hard liquor again.
Listen, if you ever get sick off of drinking something, you never will look at it the same. Mine's Goldschlager. Like, my 21st birthday, I drank Goldschlager. And it just makes me kind of like get the gags when I think about it.
I don't know if I've ever had that. Pinnacle Whipped is disgusting.
Fireball,
I love Fireball.
Fireball's in line though with Goldschlager. And I can't do anything cinnamon. I don't even eat cinnamon gum.
I can see that. I'm not a drinker in general. And I threw up one or two times from drinking in the handful of times I ever have. And it's not for me in general. I don't want to feel like that. I don't want to feel the spins. I don't want to get a headache. I don't want to have a hangover. Like, it's just not for me.
Man, when the room feels like it's spinning.
Can someone answer this question, this last burning question I have? Like, for anyone who's like a big drinker, whether you're an alcoholic or you do it regularly for funsies, what did she say?
She said Kail.
But why? I was just going to ask, like, are y'all like immune to hangovers? Like, how does that work? Like, how do you get over that part of it? Because like, maybe I would drink if I wasn't going to, like, I don't.
Hair of the dog. I was going to say hair of the dog. Like,
what does that mean?
If you've gone out and you've just had yourself a damn time and you wake up and you're like, oh, I actually can't do today. Just pop your next drink because you'll be okay.
Wait, that like makes it better?
Yes.
Really?
Kristen's like, yes.
Really?
Yeah, if you've ever had a hangover, I mean, I would not recommend like drinking like that and just having a good damn time on a Sunday fun day and then waking up on Monday morning and being like, oh, I've got to go to my job, so let me just like pop this White Claw. But Kristen says if you're extremely nauseous, sip a beer, not like an IPA, but like a Miller Lite or a White Claw, like that works too.
But so like, would it like taper it off? Like, could you just drink a tiny bit to like take the edge off and then slowly get sober without the hangover effects? Because like the hangover effects are wild.
You know, the only time I've ever been hungover was on my 21st birthday, and it was literally Goldschlager. So that's why I will never look at it again. Thank you guys for always supporting our show. Please subscribe and review on the Apple Podcast app, follow and rate on Spotify, or listen wherever you get your pods. For our latest merch, visit coffeeconvospodcast.com to shop. Full video episodes are available on Kail's Patreon at patreon.com/Kail Lowry. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and join our Facebook group to connect with us and our community. We hope that you guys have a fantastic week, and we'll talk to you soon.
See ya.
This October, Fear is free on Pluto TV with horror movie collections from Paranormal Activity, The Ring,
You will die in 7 days.
Scream, and From Dusk Till Dawn.
This is my kind of place.
And don't miss the man-made nightmares in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein or the world-ending chaos in 28 Days Later.
There's something in the blood.
All the scares, all for free. Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.
Is this thing on? I'm Caitlin Bristow, host of Off the Vine podcast, where I get real. Well, maybe a little too real sometimes, with my friends and celeb guests from Bachelor franchise and beyond. I'm talking guests like Jonathan Van Ness, Nikki Glazer, Wells Adams, Elise Myers,
just like in this like business jacket, like I would love some tacos.
Heidi D'Amelio, Big Brother's Taylor Hale.
I have to bring it up because it happened and we're going to get through it.
What'd I do?
And so many more. So come hang out with us, hear ridiculous confessions, and get a little vulnerable because you know what? We're all just floating on this weird little planet together. Follow, rate, and review Off the Vine podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts.